What's going on, everybody? Justin Schwartz here with the DJs Guru, and today we're going to give you a deep dive on the RCF HD-10a MK4. So I'm very excited to do this review because we're in a new era here in the world, and I think it's very important that we start to look at some of these smaller cabinets with tremendous output, like this particular speaker here. So I'll give you a quick rundown on the specs because when I saw them on paper, I was blown away. So first off, the map on this speaker is 449, and with that, you're getting an 800 watt peak, 128 max decibel SPL with digital amplification and the built-in DSP, which is what they call fur filter technology. Very, very incredible stuff. We'll talk about that more later. It's about 26 pounds, very small, very compact, as we just said, and really less than 2 feet tall by 12 inches wide. So very, very small design, very lightweight, very portable. You've got a 2-inch voice coil on here. It's a 10-inch woofer, and then you have a 1-inch compression driver for your high frequency range. So it has great specs, looks great on paper. But what's important to me is how does it sound, right? So that's what we're going to test out more, and we'll get to that in just a little bit. Now, the HD-10a is part of the HD series from RCF. And by design, the HD series is trying to basically give you a touring grade speaker at a smaller and a more affordable price range. So what they did was they took everything from the TT series and their touring grade, and they basically made it smaller. So as you see here, you have a very elegant design here, very aggressive looking, nice looking speaker, but most importantly, it is designed for today's working performer and working DJs. So it can handle 5 gigs in a weekend. It can handle being left overnight in the cold, in the heat, whatever the case may be. When you're working a lot, when you're touring, when you're going from gig to gig, you need a speaker that can keep up with you, that is built to design those rigors. And this speaker most certainly is. And every HD series speaker is built just like that. Okay, so the next thing that I want to talk about with you is FiRPHASE technology. So what exactly is it? It's on all the boxes. You probably have heard the name and the title before through RCF, and you're probably wondering, what the heck is it? And what I did was I read the white sheet on it, which is basically a 3 or 4 page informational guide as to exactly what it does scientifically. I gotta tell you, I almost fell asleep after about reading half of it. So I'm gonna kind of sum it up for you very, very simply. The goal of a powered speaker, loudspeaker, whatever it may be, is to reproduce sound. And the goal, of course, is to reproduce that sound as close to the original as possible. So what FiRPHASE technology does, and by the way, FIR stands for finite impulse response, okay? So FIR filter is basically going to filter out all those impulse responses within the cabinet. And what it's basically doing is it's matching the input to all of the outputs at the same time. So what that's basically going to do is it's going to make sure that you're reproducing sound in the most true to life original form. Again, because everything that's going into the speaker box is then digitally pushed out of the box at the exact same time. Okay, and that's what's going to give you that crisp, clear RCF sound that you've come to know and love. And that's FiRPHASE technology, and it's something that is exclusive to RCF speakers. What I also wanted to show you was, look at this. You got a 10-inch speaker on top of a 15-inch speaker. So just to kind of give you an idea of the difference in size going from the 10 to the 15 in general, but for these particular cabinets, we've got an ELX from Electro-Voice, which is a great speaker, and you got this RCF HD-10. So, I mean, just a tremendous difference in size. Okay, what's going on? So I think the first thing that you need to understand is that because these are so small and they're so portable, and they're not rinky-dink speakers, these are pro-level touring speakers, I want you to see how easily it is to fit these in the front of your car. So let's say you have a small vehicle, let's say you need them for sound reinforcement. When you're doing a larger gig, there's a lot of applications that you can use these speakers for, but the most important thing that I wanted to point out in this little scene was to make sure you understood the size. I'm actually fitting both speakers in the front seat of a Subaru Forester here, so it's not extra big, but the amazing sound gets packed into this small size of a box, and it's amazing that you can fit these in the front seat of your car. All right, so we're about to start our testing process. As you can see here behind me, I've got the two RCF HD-10a MK4s set up on poles. First little tip of advice for you, if you're going to use smaller speakers, I wasn't really prepared, but I don't recommend using the larger speaker stands. If you can find something with a smaller footprint, it always looks a lot better and aesthetically pleasing. I always use ultimate support tripods. I'll give them a free plug, but that's a little tip for you. But I'm about to do my first sound test on these bad boys. I don't want to hear anything about cable management. I just plugged everything in real basic. I'm not set up for a gig here, so don't judge me. But I'm about to turn these bad boys on and see what my ears have to tell me. All right, let's hit the play button here. Wow, I don't know if anybody can hear me, but I gotta tell you, I can feel bass. Obviously, I'm still yelling to get over the sound volume. It's very crisp, it's very balanced. I don't hear any distortion. And this is an EDM track, so, you know, a lot of crazy production goes into these, a lot of sound, a lot of low-end bass, and it's really handling them very well. So far, track one, I'm very impressed. Okay, so that was a little EDM. We're gonna go into a little rap. Let's try this bad boy out.
Yeah. After I get it, I reinvest. After I get it, I reinvest. Talk in reality, you have not seen me in action.
So when you play different types of music, obviously the way that they're mixed down is different, the bass is different, so you have to try all different types of music to really test out a speaker. You know, acoustic music might sound very different than something like this. That's going to be very, very difficult and hard on the amp and on the speaker itself. So I always like to try an EDM song, a very hard, heavy, or slower hip-hop or rap song. I don't hear any distortion. I don't hear anything but crisp, clear music. Wow. So far, I'm very, very impressed. Let's try another one. Okay, so my first two songs didn't really have that drum kick that I get a lot in my house music and tribal music and different things like that. Any pop music really has a real good like 707 type kick, and I want to try that out. So let's listen to that. Take a little walk and see what my ears have to say. Now the one thing you got to understand, when you put any type of speaker up on a pole like that, you're going to lose a lot of the bass, a lot of the low end. Because bass is omnidirectional and it really needs to be on the floor to be able to feel it. But I can tell you that I feel it. Not in the way that you feel a sub on the floor, but I can feel that low end frequency coming through the air, even though it's only a 10-inch. It's very, very crisp, very balanced. I love the way that it's tuned. And I gotta tell you, if I had two 12 to two 15-inch subs with these, I feel pretty confident doing a lot of different types of events, a lot of different types of sound reinforcement, different things like that. So far, so good. Very, very impressed. All right, last song here for my sound check. A little bit more of a poppy type funky song. Let's see how this one sounds. Now, if I stand right here, let's say I was on a dance floor, pumping right now. Kind of went down a little bit to a lower end bass. Still sounds amazing. No distortion whatsoever. That's the most incredible thing to me with these, is that there's no distortion. I'm very, very impressed. I gotta tell you, I'm very impressed. Okay, now, once again, let's take a look at the back of the speaker here. As I told you earlier, this is not a rinky-dink small speaker. This is a tour grade, tour sound level speaker. So they basically gave you the inputs and outputs that you're going to need for the basics. It's not gonna have a ton of RCA inputs. It's not gonna have Bluetooth, all that other kind of stuff, because basically they spent the money and they put it into the speaker and the sound. And it's very clear, it's very obvious that that's what they did to me. Now they have one kind of EQ on the back. It's a flat or a boost. I had these on flat. I generally recommend that. And I had these turned up a little bit past 12 o'clock. I wouldn't recommend going any higher than that. That was definitely the point where I started to get the limiter come on. And everything that you heard during my testing was with the flat level on and at that master volume, okay? All right, we're gonna try to max them out. Still no distortion. Still down here. The limiter finally came on. And that's with the gains almost turned all the way up and the max volume past where it should be. So, how did you like my tests? Did you enjoy them? I know I did. Let me tell you something. As you could tell by the video prior to this and all the clips that we've had, I'm very impressed with this speaker. At $449, I gotta tell you, I have not heard a speaker that sounds this good and looks this good at that price. So let's talk about the pros, let's talk about the cons, because of course no speaker is perfect, although this is pretty close to it for the price point. The pros, most definitely, it is sexy. I love the way it looks. It looked great up on the pole. I could definitely see it being used as a monitor. I could definitely see it being used as a floor stage monitor as well, or up, it is a DJ monitor. The second thing I will tell you that I do love about it, of course, is the compact and portable size. Obviously, again, 26 pounds, less than 24 inches high, less than 12 inches wide, and great ergonomic design with the handle on the side, the handle on the top, and then of course you got the wedge design here so you can floor mount it if you need to. So I love the portability, I love the versatility of it as well. And then most importantly, my favorite thing about this speaker is, of course, the sound. Unbelievable. I have to tell you, as soon as I put this thing on, I just said, whoa. I couldn't believe what was happening and the sound that was coming out. I wasn't expecting it. And just so crisp, so clear. And even the low end was really great, I have to tell you. I felt it right behind the booth where I was when I first turned it on. And, as we saw in the video clips, as you walked away from it, you didn't really lose any of that sound. So it is phenomenal. Sound quality, crisp, clear and really does reproduce the sound as true to the original as you can expect or would expect. Now, as I said, no speaker is perfect, right? So what makes the speaker not perfect? And I will tell you right here, essentially it's everything here on the back. Okay, so there's no built-in crossover. So what does that basically mean? It just basically means that the outputs are post-gain, so you're not going to be able to go to a sub. You're not going to be able to go to another speaker a lot of times. It's going to make that a little bit more difficult for you, but ultimately I think this is a speaker where you're using it for sound reinforcement and you're using it in a situation where you need some portability. So you're going to just use these with a sub most likely, and the sub output you just go right into it, so that's not a problem. And then of course you have a somewhat of a limited mixer on the back. Now at $449, quite simply, these are the reasons why you don't have these things. The truth is, most DJs, most performers out there, if you're going to use a speaker like this for cocktail, for ceremony, or something else where you might need more than just a single input, you should have some sort of a live mixer from Mackie, something like that, or RCF makes them as well, of course. That should be a tool in your box all the time. So that's something that I would say you want to have anyway. For me, that wasn't really a big issue, but I could see someone that might be using this as a one-size-fits-all speaker might having an issue with that. No Bluetooth, no SD card, no anything like that. Again, touring grade speaker. What they did was they put everything into the sound, into the reproduction of the sound, and they didn't put a ton of bells and whistles on here, because if you had that, it probably would be $150 to $200 more. And I just don't think you're buying this particular speaker for those types of uses. So those are the cons for me, but I mean, overall, when you talk about the pros versus the cons are very limited. And for $449, I got to tell you, one of the best speakers I've ever heard at that price point. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That's the RCF HD-10a MK4 DJs Guru review. We are very impressed with it. Very, very happy with the sound quality. Very happy with the portability, the look. The mixer could be a little bit better, but again, you can't get everything at the price range that this is. So it's very minor, very, very minor as far as the negatives on this box. And I highly recommend this one for so many different types of applications. So if you're using it for DJing, if you're using it for sound reinforcement, sometimes you have one size fits all system and you need a couple of extra smaller speakers to fill in the gaps. If you're doing a larger room, if you're doing a room with more people in it, this is a perfect speaker just for that. As we saw earlier, fits in the front of your car. So, if you're regularly bringing all of your stuff in a truck or a van and you don't have extra space, these simply could, like you saw, can fit at the front seat of your car when you need them. And even just to have with you on gigs when you might need a backup speaker or a monitor. There's so many different uses and applications for this. So I have to tell you, I'm very, very impressed. And we hope you really enjoyed this review. We're going to be coming to you with many more reviews in the future. Don't forget, if you like this review, if you like the content that we're putting out there, make sure you subscribe to our page. Make sure you ring that bell so you get notifications. And like this video too. And if you have any comments, please share them below in the comment box. I always want to hear, and we always want to hear what your feedback is. Questions, anything like that, please let us know. We're always happy to answer. And of course, you can find us at thedjsguru.com or at the DJs Guru on all social media platforms. Thanks again for watching, everybody. Again, my name is Justin Schwartz with the DJs Guru. We look forward to seeing you next time. See you on the flip side. Thanks.